think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
I paid for because there was this lady long ago who had a really great blog that I liked. I was like, oh, the other day or the other month I was like, what's up with the lady with that blog? I'm going to go see. And she like moved over to Patreon, and I was like, you know what? I liked her stuff so much. I'm going to give her $5 Yankee dollars to see what she's up to nowadays. You know, like, people got to make a living. I'll see what she's up to. So her first fucking newsletter that I get from her is absolutely fucking insane. And it's all about Trudeau and Castro, and she's not even Canadian. Like, it's all part of like this elaborate Illuminati related conspiracy, and it goes back fucking generations and shit. And like, and it was this, I should share this with you, like the PDF of.
I like what you're saying to me.
Yeah, I was like, and I unsubscribed right away, and I told her that she was insane. But
that's sad.
Well, I thought so, because I kind of respected her. I thought she was really, like, she wasn't I wasn't coming to her for like rational argument, but she would put together these interesting collages of links on the internet or images on the internet, and of course, when I say that out loud, like, of course she went conspiracy theory, because that's what it is. A conspiracy theory is a collage of internet links held together by some sort of fantasy. And so, like something happened to her over the course of the pandemic, is what I gather, or she's running.
Oh man, a lot of people went sideways on the pandemic.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, which is part of, I think, part of this desire for everyone to change right now. You know, like the pandemic really fucked everything up, and it's not unusual for, like, we're getting labor strife, we're getting political strife. You know, these things follow pandemics. It just shakes everything up, and people are fucking pissed. Like, so many people lost their jobs because they wouldn't get vaccinated. And I don't care about those people, and they can fuck off, but nonetheless, they're angry that it happened. And that anger is not going to go away.
It's true. I sent you some Castros.
Oh, sweet.
You're going to like them.
Oh, come on, machine. Oh, it's going so slow on me. I was just trying to have a little nap. What do we got here? What does he say there? Castro Jr. Yeah, all right. Fucking guy.
Yeah, you like
Where
that.
was he when Montreal burned, I ask?
I know where he was.
He was dancing.
He was fucking shimmying at a Taylor Swift concert. What a pig.
He was just like lip singing, like, in the most awkward dad way to his daughter.
He's like, how does he even know Taylor Swift? Kate went to the Taylor Swift concert, not the Trudeau one, different one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she listens to Taylor Swift every day, and I listen to it on trips to Windsor because she forces me, and I don't know a single fucking lyric.
Right.
Shame on that man.
I think it was, be a man. Fuck. Well, be a man. Fuck Taylor Swift is what I was gonna say. But
wow.
Yeah, that could be read a couple ways. Didn't mean that.
Be a man.
Anyway, Don't go. Well, if you're gonna go to the concert, it was just, you know who put that together though? Full circle, Polyev. Put together that little montage. You know, like that.
His montage was good. His montage was the best.
Yeah. And just like, so anyone who doesn't know, like, in Montreal there was a riot, an anti we'll call it pro-Palestinian protest turned riotous in downtown Montreal. And for anyone who knows Canadian politics and knows about Montreal, this is nothing. They do this every once in a while about something.
Yeah, and they also have, like, I think there was an amended article recently where they're like, I think they caught some people and they arrested some people and charged some people, and it's actually like basically like it's like like a far left agitator cell that like often does that shit in Montreal.
Okay. So yeah, they just
and they jumped in, they joined the crowd, and they were like, and they're masked up, they got backpacks, pipes, they're pros, and they set off fucking little bombs, they smash windows, they go to work.
Yeah, and it's otherwise quite minor, and so the controversy
it's pretty little. Like when you threw up you fucking lit a Burger King bag on fire and threw it in a parked car, and then shit looks real good on video.
Yeah. So the controversy, of course, is that he's dancing, and like he's sort of dancing while this is happening. Like the timeline doesn't quite match up, but like fine, he's at a concert while this is happening, but. And what is sort of infuriating, but also like quite revealing about how unpopular this guy is right now. Like he has no role in what happens in Montreal. Like the only thing he could have done is declared a national emergency and brought in the troops. No one would have liked if he did that. They're just upset that he happened to be at a concert while this happened. But like, it's the provincial government's job and the police in Montreal.
It's true, and they did. Yeah. The police went out in force, dealt with it, made arrests, did all the things they were supposed to do, restored order, and then the premier came out in the morning and denounced and so on and so forth. Normal politicking occurred.
Yeah. And so like he doesn't. It brings nothing to the table for him to just like. Whatever he's going to say, like mostly he'll probably just be like anti-Semitic rioting is not acceptable. I don't know. Just like we do not condone violence in Canada. I don't know.
Or Islamophobia.
Oh, fine. Yeah. Any of it.
You got to add it.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever. He, like that's what, like, but what's revealing is just, they're just mad at him.
They hate him. That's what I mean.
It's just another fucking
thing again as well too. They're both, they're insufferable. Their faces just are, it's like, it's just grating. It's like Jake Paul's more likable.
Oh boy. And I don't even like know him enough, but I do think that I like him more than our prime minister and his, what the fuck is Freeland? She's the minister of, I should know this.
Minister of Insufferability.
Minister of Insufferability, where she reigns supreme.
Yeah.
Maybe
if you stop buying Tim Hortons.
Oh, Jesus. Maybe if you stop drinking, well,
stop drinking and gambling.
Yeah, some people can't do that, though, James, is what I understand.
Some people like to drink. Some people choose to drink.
Yeah, or choose to drink themselves to death over a 4-week period.
No. Or choose to allow dying to facilitate their drinking.
Oh, yeah. That's very zen. Today on the X-tinction Agenda with James and James, we're talking, finally, I'm going to cut out like at least 13 to 20 minutes. We're talking today about a little movie called Leaving Las Vegas, starring Nicolas Cage and Elizabeth Shue, directed by, what's this guy's name? Mike Figgis, who also adapted the screenplay and also did the music. He's a real fucking auteur. Wow. And he does this with all of his movies, apparently, like looking through his discog. It's based off a novel by one John O'Brien, who commits suicide a few weeks before this movie was released. A few weeks after, perhaps. No, a few weeks before he learned that this movie was going to be made. That's the story. Sorry. You'd think I would have remembered.
Did he do it by drinking?
No, he shot himself in the face, but he was an alcoholic.
Well, shit.
Yeah, there's a sense that this movie, I view this movie as a suicide note. There's lots of reasons to resist that sort of reading, but like I also at the same time I can't help but think like it was written in 1990 or released in 1990, which is like 5 years before this movie. But the timing of it, it just feels ripe for a myth, for a story about it. Did you know anything about this movie before you went into it?
No, and actually, upon reading the plot synopsis, I imagined I was in lining myself up for a rom-com, maybe.
Yes, me too.
And wow, was I fucking wrong?
Yeah. Couldn't be more wrong. Couldn't be more wrong on this one. So, yeah, because there's that song, right? The Sheryl Crow track, Leaving Las Vegas, and which was released before this movie, but also like it actually gets the title from the John O'Brien novel. But I don't know. I despite the fact that it says, like, here's the beginning of the plot synopsis, the first sentence, Hollywood screenwriter who lost everything because of his alcoholism arrives in Las Vegas to drink himself to death. And I was like, oh, this will be great. She's going to save him.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. He's going to meet like a hooker with a heart. This is going to be great. It's going to be like a little bit of a wackier Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
So,
no, not at all.
It wasn't. Yeah, actually, the parent rating should have been a fucking dead giveaway.
Oh, what?
Sex, nudity, severe. Violence and gore, moderate. Profanity, severe. Alcohol, severe. Frightening scenes, severe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, like there's fucking horror movies that don't hit these cues.
Yeah. Well, and that's like, this is like I said repeatedly on our texts when we were gearing up for this, I was like, this movie shocked me. I had a beaming grin through the entire thing. I was pleased as punch. I loved it.
Me too. Great. This is fantastic. I can see why the reviews are so high. I can see why this is a fucking great, and I can also now I understand why this isn't on anyone's fucking movie shelf though.
Right. Yeah.
Because this is this isn't something that you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and revisit that.
Yeah.
I see how hard you make me, Angel. Oh my god, dude, this was a lot. This is a lot. I've never seen alcohol portrayed this way in a movie, and it scared me to imagine that it's possible to be in that kind of body scenario.
Yeah, just drink it, like the amount. It's not his behavior or anything. It's just watching him glug like straight vodka and out of flasks or whatever, and just like the complete dedication. There's no attempt at resisting it.
No, and when he wakes up and his body's just fucking horrified. And he's sweating and he's shaking, he's non-functional until he just absolutely can just guzzle some pure fucking hard liquor, and then his body like sort of resets so that he can function as like a piece of shit drunk, basically. Is his ideal form.
Yeah. And so this is the movie for me that Nicolas Cage is absolutely an excellent actor. I didn't think he actually was. For all the talk, for all the movies we've watched, for all the things I've enjoyed, seeing him transform himself into this character, and all the the mannerisms and the tics. It's like having watched Con Air. You can see like this is a man who knows how to actually pretend to be other people. AKA acting.
Oh, yes.
And I was really impressed. He won the. Normally, I don't give a shit about the Academy Awards, but I was pleased to see that he won. It seems worth it. This is this kind of justifies the entire Nicolas Cage exploration quest that we've been on. Up until now, I've been like, what are we doing? Why did I put us on this fucking quest?
Oh, this was incredible. I didn't know he was capable of this, and I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And also, kudos to Elizabeth Shue, who was fucking electrifying also. This was unbelievable and just god awful. Like, he fucking thanks also to what's that gentleman's name?
What? Who?
Julian Sands, who fucking played Yuri.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yuri was a real fucking treat.
Great casting all around. Just in general, you get a lot of faces that work really well. Like, a good casting person is worth $1,000. Well, $1,000 isn't a lot in movies. $1,000 million. 11. Yes, that's right. $11,000 million. Makes me kind of want to be a casting director. Get that money.
I like the counseling angle too.
Oh, with Elizabeth?
Yeah, because I just don't. It's never revealed who she's talking to or what's going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can really go dark with it if you want. She could be talking to their baby.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you like. There's never a reply. She could be talking to his corpse.
Right. Not talking to no one. I mean, like, she's just...
She could be talking to herself in the mirror.
Yeah, but there's some sort of, like, she is on a couch. She's in a very particular
There is
circumstance.
an office, yeah.
Yeah. But still,
I guess
though, like,
you can take that away from me if you want.
It is a it's kind of a non sequitur, I suppose, and just like it's just inserted, but it's a way to get into her, to learn more about her, and it makes sense because she's self-aware. They're both self-aware, I guess. Like, so Sarah's a sex worker who she's has like this Latvian pimp who kind of followed, who followed her around, and she had tried to escape from, but ended up working with again. And she's working on the streets of Las Vegas. Things are going, like, she's making a good amount of money. She's turning a trade, but she's kind of also trapped with this Yuri guy. And she's aware of all of it. Like, one of her confessionals actually is to Yuri. She just kind of every once in a while opens herself up to the camera and practically talks at it. And it goes a long way, because otherwise, like, how do we latch on to her?
Well, yeah, you need the I don't know. I think that's part of the counseling angle too, that you're getting this, like, this extra sort of, like, because it's hard to, I don't know. They're both likable, which is, it's funny that the Nicolas Cage, like, the Ben character, ends up being likable because he shouldn't be. He's horrible at the beginning of the movie.
He's a drunk. Like, let's just say, like, his worst trait really is that he's a drunk driver, like, constantly. He's desperate for money. He's gray. Like, the makeup department gets like $5,000. I know these sums mean actually really nothing, but yeah. So it's all $1,000 for me.
$1,000 for you. $1,000 for you.
Yeah. But yeah, he looks awful, and he's like, the real problem is he's just drinking all the time. He's not violent. He does have that freak out at the poker table or whatever.
Yeah, but even that, there's no personal violence against anyone.
Yeah, it's like they're cutting him off from booze, so he's freaking out, right?
Yeah, that's what I interpreted as to have happened in that scenario, in that scene.
And he's pathetic. Like, he lost his family. Like, he loses his job. And you kind of, like, when he says, I didn't really believe him. Well, at a certain point in this movie, I definitely believed him. I think it's when they're having dinner, Elizabeth Shue and him, like, finally, and he just explains, like, his intent is to drink himself to death, and you cannot stop him. Like, if you ask me to not drink.
Yeah, that's the scene for me too, where he's like, you can never ask me to stop drinking.
Yeah.
And then there's like a pause, and I think she says, "I know."
Right.
And it's just like, you're just like, he's gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna die, and she's not gonna be able to stop him, and you're just gonna watch him degrade.
And then, yeah, and true to his word, when she does try to stop him later, like he has that, he makes sure there's like an affair for whatever that amounts to when he's so fucking drunk. Like brings another sex worker back to like her place just to sever the link, so that way he can continue drinking himself to death. Yeah. But within all of that, like what makes this movie so good is like it's a love story. Like it's for all of its horror and everything. Like when and this after when she finds him in that hotel room, and she's been this movie is unbelievable. When she's been brutally raped
By
and
a
she
football
nonetheless
team, that's
yeah,
that scene was god awful.
just horrible.
You know what? I sold this as a rom-com to Kate.
Oh
She
God,
played,
yeah.
She played on her Nintendo Switch the whole time, luckily
Right.
for me. But she looked up from time to time and made commentary, like she's like, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks, Kate. And then her other commentary was during the football rape scene was, wow,
Yeah.
you thought I would like this? I was like, you know what? I didn't know.
No. Well, neither of us knew, man. We were so innocent. Because yeah, it was similar around this household. I don't think I sold it hard as a rom-com, but I did. I did think it was going to be lighter hearted than this, though. Like, I can't believe how wrong it was. It was terrible.
Oh, it was rough. Yeah, even the
Yep.
pimp gives, like, right at the beginning, it opens up with Yuri and slapping her around, and then gives her that, like, I guess it's consensual, but it's just violent, horrible looking sex.
Yeah, whether I don't know if consent factors into it. It's just the job, like because no, she did try to escape. I would say it's non-consensual in that moment. Like she looks afraid. Like she enjoys sex in every other circumstance in this movie, or like visually appears to enjoy it, right? But with Yuri, no, it's like she's going through the motions in order to satisfy her pimp, so that way, she doesn't get cut and beaten.
Yeah.
And it's pretty terrible. And it's weird though that she's otherwise so together, and strong. Like she's so strong looking in this. Big woman. I don't know how
Yeah.
tall she actually is, but I was like, wow, that's a formidable adversary.
I just realized she's actually in the Boys.
Oh yeah, I think I read this. Yeah, she's like one of the executives,
Yeah,
right?
she's like the Vought executive. Yeah.
Yeah. She's also Marty McFly's girlfriend in Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Get out.
Yeah.
Like
Which,
that.
Way to go, Marty, man. You got yourself a winner.
Yeah, this is just so the parts that are enjoyable in the love story pieces are when, like, she's just seeking out he has like a general kindness to him, and they just share that honesty. Like that's when he says he can't stop drinking, and she's like, well, I work as a sex worker. He just fully accepts it, and they're like unbridled honesty is just what sort of like carries them along through it. And he's quirky, there's no barriers, and it just like it fuels all the like positivity in their early encounters, and gives you this hope to kind of latch onto, which is horrifyingly brutalized as you go through the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just like, I don't know, and then there's just this like, and they just hobble, they just crush you every moment of the movie too, because like as you go along, every time they give you that bone that I just described, it's just immediately destroyed by like a horrifying drunken moment that's like almost unredeemable. that she just tolerates and tries to pick herself up from as she helps him along through his journey.
Yeah, and that's what makes it the love story thing, like this unconditional. It's almost like a thought exercise about like what unconditional love would look like. Like how would one test the concept of unconditional love? And Elizabeth Shue, this was her test, Sarah's test. And there is a desperation to her. Like she falls in love with him, but she initially rejects him, but then her pimp is murdered, and then she seeks him out. Like he's kind of a replacement for that. So it's not quite pure, but nonetheless, like what she puts up with.
Well, it was kind of you accept it as pure because it was kind of underway prior to that incident.
Yeah, they were being drawn together.
Yeah,
and then it makes sense. She's freed and she goes.
Yeah, and it's but then like you say, it's just her replacing. But like really, her love ends up being unconditional. Like Sarah's love ends up being unconditional. Ben's doesn't
not
love her.
Yeah.
No, the only thing that's unconditional from Ben is his kindness and his acceptance of her being a hooker, which is good enough for her.
Yeah,
which sort of twists the love story around too, right? It's not like two-sided unconditional love. It's
because like at the end of the day, like he's married to death first and foremost, and death in the form of his drinking. Like he really wants to die. Like he's decided he's going to die, and the fact that he's fallen in love during that process is not for him a reason to dissuade himself from like the act of death. And what she ends up being, getting back to like so she's been, the final scene of this movie is, so she's Elizabeth Shue, Sarah's been brutally raped. She's she's been bleeding in the shower, and like that was a hell of a scene. And the and he's dying, and like she gets on top of him, and like kind of fucks him a little bit as it dies. And he calls her an angel in that moment. And the directing is very good. I think like this movie wouldn't work at all if it wasn't for how it was shot and how it was edited, et cetera, et cetera. The music, it all comes together with like it's unified and made charming.
I did write that the jazz soundtrack was really set the tone, but there were also very well picked songs in between as well, like you say, that really like drove the setting. But it was overwhelming also at times, I found. I don't know.
That's fair. Like you'll get different mileage on that. It definitely, I guess maybe you can feel it's the age of this movie, like 1995 jazz is it's special. I know jazz is supposed to be eternal, but like I don't think you'd nowadays. This ain't.
Oh, you could feel the. Yeah, I know what you mean. You could feel the date on the jazz.
Yeah. like I really can't. Like I'm not an expert in jazz enough to say that, but I just feel that nonetheless I'm correct. This is 1995 jazz. I like that one of the things that about Ben that allows us to continue to really be charmed by him, despite how pathetic he is like when he gets fired and stuff. We really liked you, Ben. and even the secretary is really nice. Like everybody's. There's no sense that anybody really has ill will at this point. Like he just sours relationships by asking for money all the time. But he's not himself.
No, and he's not. Toxic. He's not dangerous or upsetting, and he's even likable. Even the girl that he hits on at the bar when he's absolutely pickled in the earliest scene.
Yeah, very
uncomfortable. And he just is so uncomfortable and so inappropriate. When he initially hits on her, she's charmed.
Yeah.
And then obviously he cannot hold it together to be appropriate. And he ends up being an absolute nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And a pig and like just a borderline assault.
Well, yeah, I guess, like, he buys her a drink, and then, like, she's clearly, like, you've been drinking all day, and she's trying to be polite, because, like, she's put up with this bullshit for men for a long time, and she has, her operating procedure in those moments. And then he's immediately like, I got an idea, like let's fuck. I'll get you up a gooey blender drink. Like, it's all about drinking, even when it's about sex. And then he practically begs her, you're so nice, you smell pretty.
Yeah, it's horrible. And that's the whole thing, like, throughout that embarrassing, that, like, the popular word for it is cringe now, but you're like recede into yourself with embarrassment and fucking horror for the idea of being presented with these scenes when he falls at the pool and they get kicked out of the resort. So fucking uncomfortable what that woman says to them, like, just get the fuck out, I'll cover it today, I don't want to see your fucking faces again. And it's just
but it's much more polite than that. That's what's bad about her, though, is it's so polite. Like, she's just like, I'll tell you what's gonna happen, blah blah blah, and it is the
cover your
like,
stay, and you don't have to worry about anything, just pack up and go.
Yeah.
And
but the whole time she says it's fuck off. Like, just get the fuck out of here. But
it's so uncomfortable, and there's such a finality to it.
Yeah.
It's awful. Then the same thing happens at the casino when they get kicked out. And the same, even the end of the movie, she comes to see him, and he's got, like, a fucking death rattle going, and it's this touching scene, and he's fucking under the fucking blankets fapping.
That's right. Yeah.
He's just giving it a fucking jerk as soon as he sees it. Like, Jesus Christ, the guy is an absolute animal, and he can't help but, like, bring you to a place you didn't think you'd go, like, just to be so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then the way he reaches for the bottle, the way that's shot.
I just watched it right now.
It's like his arm is, like, fucking 10 feet long.
Yeah.
He goes for that fucking bottle, and it comes back. Like, this movie, like, I don't even need to look at a lot of my notes. Like, this movie's gonna fucking stay with me. This was awful.
Yeah, I told Jason that, like, he's like, what you guys talking about tonight? And I was like, we're doing Leaving Las Vegas. And he's, that's a jaunty one, isn't it?
What a fucker.
Yeah, and I was like, well, not exactly. And I told him my story about how I thought it was a rom-com. He was like, no, it wasn't a rom-com. Like this. Yeah, this one's gonna stay with me. This one is, I think it's, so when we were younger, like, the movie that this was equivalent to was, like, Requiem for a Dream or something.
I thought of that movie, and I was gonna mention it.
Yeah, and it shows up in if you like this, you'll like Requiem for a Dream. And I was like, well,
yeah, if you like being fucking uncomfortable as fuck.
Yeah, I prefer this movie so much more. Like, mostly because I tried to rewatch Requiem for a Dream recently, like, within the last 5 years, and I couldn't do it. I don't think it's actually a good movie. Our memory of it is better than it actually is, I think.
I had that feeling, and I remember you saying that it didn't age appropriately.
But I think this movie's fucking eternal. When I said this was Bad Lieutenant level filmmaking, I stand by that.
I still haven't seen Bad Lieutenant.
Yes, you have. We did a podcast about it.
Did we?
We did, yeah, with Black Rain. Way back when. I think it's like episode 13 or 16 or something like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, give yourself a treat, man. If you don't remember it, watch it again.
Isn't there a Nicolas Cage Bad Lieutenant?
Yes, there is. Yeah, which is, like, all the more interesting to me. I was like, it's a sequel directed by Werner Herzog. Don't worry, we're going to be watching that one.
I'm just at the point with my memory where you have to traumatize me in this way in order to get something to stick in there.
No, that's true. We've talked about this before. I mean, we don't have to get into it so much, but like, memory and emotion are deeply connected, and unless it's something deeply intense, it's possible to, like, I forget lots of things. I forget so many things in my life just because they weren't sufficiently intense. Whatever my intense threshold was, my emotion threshold, those things didn't happen because I didn't care about them, right? And yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Although I'm surprised that Bad Lieutenant didn't meet the cut, because that movie is fucking atrocious. But a different vibe, like not so degenerate. This one's really straight up a degenerate love story, where Bad Lieutenant doesn't have any. It's more about redemption with him, like salvation. It's got a different, like, sort of Catholic vibe, and this has so much heart.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of all of his fucking dialogue at the bank.
Oh yeah, man. I was gonna comment on that. I love that. Like, talking into the recorder, or you mean like,
yeah,
or like
both, when he's talking to the recorder for his lines, then he comes back and he sobers up and he's talking about, I guess he's talking about the receptionist or the bank teller.
Mm-hmm. Well, it keeps intercutting with images of her face. So like, and the people in the line behind him are watching him, like, they're really mesmerized by his poetry. Like, I think that's another reason that because he's a Hollywood writer, right, in this, and you get the impression that, like, there's actually sort of like this storyteller buried within this fucking pathetic alcoholic. And it comes out every once in a while. And one of the things that Elizabeth Shue really likes about him is she says something like, every once in a while, something really beautiful comes out of your lips. Something like that. Because yeah, he has some interesting turns of phrase. And when the bartender, so he leaves the bank because he's fucking shaken and he can't sign a check. He's like, I've had brain surgery, I'm going to get some lunch. And then he goes to the bar, and the bartender's like, guy, you should be ordering coffee. Because he's like, I need a gin and tonic and something else. And his response is just like, I appreciate your concern. I won't come back here again. I'm sorry to make you uncomfortable. Give me another drink. And, and the guy's like, this one's on me, Even the bartender, like, it's smart that they show a bartender trying to save him, I guess. I like that every once in a while everybody, like, talks to him. And so it's, that he knows that people have told him he has a problem. And
he's not. And it's not even that he's not acknowledging the problem, it's that he's made his decision. And I like the touch that he's a writer.
Yeah.
And I like that he doesn't write.
You're right.
All.
Yeah.
That's already finished.
Yeah.
Like that chapter of his life is closed. That's finished. He's burned it. Yeah. And now he's going to drink himself to death. That commitment's made. That choice is made. And at no point does he waver.
Yeah.
No matter who talks to him, the bartender that's a friend, the people that give him the honest breakdown, even the woman he falls in love with.
Yeah.
It's just like you say, he's married to death first, and even true love is a secondary prospect.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, it's not like a classical tragedy, but you still want to, like, attach the word tragedy to it because it's so sad, and it involves fate essentially. Like, it's like he's locked himself into a certain fate. Like, he burns his passport, he burns the pictures. Like, just the thought that he has a family and a child, like, as a parent, like, you understand the gravity of what is going on in that, rattling along in that brain, who has thrown it all away. Everyone's like, just, it's gone, and so he throws out all of his stuff. And like, one of the first signs, we did suicide prevention training, and like, how do you identify someone who is potentially going to commit suicide? Usually they'll engage in wild, life-changing actions, like they suddenly, like, cut their hair all fucked up, or they'll get rid of they'll burn things, they'll get rid of it, they'll have these dramas that they go through, and that's what he does. Yeah, he goes through a sort of a classic, I'm going to commit suicide behavior of just pack up all my shit, throw it out, burn it, my identity's gone. He throws out his membership to the Screenwriters Guild, I think, or whatever it stands for, CAA. I don't know what that stands for. Maybe it's just cars. I don't know. It didn't look like it. And he burns his passport, and he burns pictures of his family, and then he's gone. You know, like the decisions. That's how we know the decision is made before we even says it.
Before it's discussed.
Yeah, because he hasn't had reason to say it to anyone yet.
And you can't help but want to advocate for him. And then the way that the typical Hollywood movie goes, you're not going to just watch a man die, even though you're given all the foreshadowing you need to believe that this is on course for that.
Yeah.
You really want to believe, like, any normal person with like hope in a heart meets this kind of guy that's like, he's quirky, he's embarrassing, he's fucked up, he's a brutal alcoholic, and he's making mistakes, but not just mistakes, like horrifying mistakes. But you can't help but want to vouch for him, and then you can't help but believe that there'll be a happy ending or some type of redemption, and it's just not given to you.
It's given to you in the way that this movie gives redemption. Like, again, getting back to she gets on top of him, and he calls her his angel, and then he passes away. Like, that's your redemption. That's it, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, so it's yeah.
But what is that? What does that amount to? You know, like, but it's such a romantic gesture in such a not disgusting, but like in a low down sort of romanticism. This is the people at the end of their rope, finding love and finding salvation, to the extent as they fucking careen towards like over the cliff. What really pleased me about this movie is that, like, this was in theaters. It was a hit. It was a small budget movie, and it made it made a lot of money, won Academy Awards. And I just think to myself, like, would a movie like this nowadays ever be made? And would it ever be a hit? And would it ever, hold society's attention for any period of time? And I got to say no. And I think we lost something. And I think that's what I fuss
about. Oh man, you're giving me the Martin Scorsese treatment.
I am giving you the Martin. Yeah, Scorsese. Yeah, me and Scorsese are. No, I really mean that. Like, there's a world in which, Indecent Proposal and Leaving Las Vegas are cultural moments that spark conversations and are, they're not like this thing titillates, right? These are titillating movies. This is the heyday of the 90s erotic thriller. And like, just this embrace of sex and degradation and and mixture with romance and all of that, like, it's just gone. And it's just kind of like, it makes me sad, because I want to live in a world in which this is what's in theaters at any given time, and all the fucking, like, all the prudes are just up in arms. Oh my God, the theaters. And I could just ignore them, but also enjoy the fact that they're uncomfortable.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I mean, it is. Yeah, that's. I feel that you're right.
Well, I don't know. Like, there's lots of movies that are shitty, right? That, like, you take this same movie and you hand it to them, and then it just turns into, like, I don't know, early HBO.
Yeah, you're actually, hilariously enough, you're probably more likely to find something with this kind of edge in the TV vein now.
I think so. But the problem is that it all feels like TV. Like, this movie feels like a movie, and I've never really been able to put my finger on what that distinction is, but it nonetheless exists. Like, we watched, for instance, White Lotus, which has very high production values, but it just feels like TV.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't know what the difference is. Like, it comes down to editing. It comes down to, like, film choices, lighting choices, music.
And it had that show in particular too. Like White Lotus has film actors in it.
Yeah,
So
and lots of sex and all that stuff.
It seems like it
Yeah.
has what you need to be film-like, but wasn't.
Yeah, and it just can't be. And and again, I'm not in the game, so I don't fucking know. But like, it's like a downgrade of the genre. Because you could, there's something about seeing this on film which I don't know why or if it's better in any respect. Maybe it's not. Maybe this stuff is better on TV. Maybe it makes more sense that it's on TV. But yeah, because who goes to the theater anymore, right? But you won't even see it on Netflix. You won't see it on Prime. This movie's on nowhere. Like how did you watch this movie?
Oh, well.
You had to like go into the ether and figure it out.
I had to get grimy.
Yeah. I permanently rented it, but that's otherwise. But even then, it was like very expensive within that realm, and I was like, why is this?
Oh yeah, it was. I don't want to say it was probably like $18 or something at least.
I think it was $14.99, plus tax or whatever. Like, who knows what that comes out to? But I was like, you know what? Like, in retrospect, I'm glad I did it. I might rewatch this later, just every once in a while, just to see Nicolas Cage fucking showing his stuff. Yeah.
I had a threshold where I would have added it to my Apple movies, but it was a bit rich for my blood.
No, if this was a $9.99er.
Oh, I would have done it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But once you get past $9.99, you just feel like you're getting fucked.
Yeah, I'm getting taken.
Yeah. You're like, I could actually just buy Taken.
Especially for an old one like this, the balls.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know what I like. The reason it's so expensive is because it's not on any of the platforms. When it shows up on any of the streaming things, the price goes down. Because who's going to pay for something that they could just watch on Netflix, right?
I see.
Yeah, that's my perception. Like, I've seen that when something comes on Netflix or whatever, suddenly it's on sale on iTunes. Anyway, I'm sure this is fascinating for the audience. This movie is very good. Surprisingly good. It cements in my mind that Nicolas Cage is an actual actor who, like, I want to see more roles like this from him. I like the cheesy stuff. I like when he acts like a goof. I pretty much like everything that he gets up to. But he has a streak of brilliance in him, which just manifests itself just every once in a while, depending upon like the stars aligning, and the stars fucking aligned on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, this was probably the best movie I've watched this year.
Oh man. Okay. It's been a bad year for you. This is a good movie, though. This is good stuff. Actually, no. If I had to ask myself, what have I watched this better? I don't know. That's dumb. I'd have to turn my mind back to the year. Oh no, I've seen a movie that's better than this year. But whatever. Right. So if you want to see a movie that is the best movie you ever saw this year, you know what to do. Buy it for $14.99 on iTunes.
Oh, shit.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.